Hi Year 10, this is the topic of proportion, and this is the first of 5 videos that I'm going to do for this topic. In our first lesson we're going to look at rates. So let's start with a definition. Recall that a ratio is the comparison of two like quantities. That means that they'll have the same units, like 3 centimetres to 2 centimetres, and we simplify that by writing it as 3 to 2. But a rate is the comparison of two unlike quantities, so they'll have different units, like 4 kilometres in 2 hours. We simplify this one by making the second quantity equal to 1. So this is equivalent to 2 kilometres per hour. Now when you're converting rates, we use the same rules for when we're converting measurements. That being, we find the conversion factor, and then we either multiply or divide by that conversion factor. Here's an example. Suppose we want to convert 3 kilometres per hour to metres per hour. We need to convert kilometres into metres, and that's going to mean multiplying by 1,000. So 3 kilometres per hour is the same as 3 times 1,000 metres per hour, which is 3,000 metres per hour. Here's another example. $300 per hour, and we want to convert it into dollars per minute. So we know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. Let's think through this carefully. $300 per hour, we want less dollars per minute. We need to divide. So we do 300 divided by 60, which is $5 a minute. Sometimes we have to do more than one conversion. Like this example, convert $15 per hour to cents per minute. So we need to change dollars to cents and hours to minutes. You can do them in either order, but I always like to start with the multiplication one first. So I'm going to change dollars into cents. So $15 is 1,500 cents. Now I need to change hours to minutes. 1,500 cents per hour will be less cents per minute, so I want to divide by 60. And that's going to give me 25 cents per minute. Now speed conversions are a really common question with rates. Let's convert 70 kilometres per hour to metres per second. We've actually got 3 conversions to do here. Kilometres into metres, hours into minutes, and then into seconds. Let's start with the kilometres into metres. 70 kilometres is the same as 70,000 metres. Now we need to convert hours into minutes and then into seconds. Both of those conversions are 60, and we need to divide. So 70,000 divided 60 gives us 19.4 meters per second. Now you might know that there are 3,600 seconds in an hour, and if you do, you could simplify this and divide by that number, 3,600, instead of doing divide 60, but it's up to you. Let's go the other way, convert 16 meters per second to kilometers per hour. Now, we could start by dividing by 1,000 to go from meters into kilometers, but I actually prefer to start by multiplying by 60 and multiplying by 60, mainly because I don't like decimals. 16 meters per second is the same as 16 times 60 times 60 meters per hour, which is 57,600 meters per hour. Divide by 1,000 gives us 57.6 kilometers per hour. This is what happens if you go the other way. It's still going to give you the right answer. 16 meters is the same as 16 divided by 1,000 kilometers per second, which is 0.016. Now times by 60 times 60, same answer, 57.6 kilometers per hour. Now there's such a thing as an inverse rate, and that's where the units are switched around. So have a look at this example. Here we've got dollars per hour. We want to change it into minutes per dollar. Can you see they're switched? Here we've got money per time period, and over here we've got time period per money. They're inverted. We also call that a reciprocal. Let's start by converting the hours into minutes. So $120 per hour, divide by 60, you're going to get $2 per minute. But we want minutes per dollar, not dollars per minute, so we need to invert the rate. So all you have to do is take this, and you can either do 1 divided by 2, which is the reciprocal, or on your calculator you can use this button here. So it's x to the negative 1, which you probably remember is 1 over x. So in this case we would put our number in, 2, and then hit that button and then hit equals. Either way, we're going to get 0.5 minutes per dollar. So $120 an hour is equivalent to a half a minute per dollar. Now, currency conversions are a really common application of inverse rates. So here we've got the exchange rate between Hong Kong dollars and Australian dollars. 1 Hong Kong dollar is equal to 0.17857 Australian dollars. Now suppose we want it the other way around. We want 1 Australian dollar equals however many Hong Kong dollars. That's an inverse rate. So what we want to do is take our exchange rate here and invert it. So I could just type 0.17857 and then that reciprocal button, x to the power of -1. Or I could do 1 divided by 0.17857. So either way, we're going to get $5.60 Hong Kong. And so 1 Australian dollar is equal to 5.60 Hong Kong dollars. Okay, last example. In America, fuel economy is measured in miles per gallon. In Australia, it's measured in litres per 100 kilometres. And these are inverse rates. Let's have a look at them. You might not know what miles and gallons are, but miles are a distance, like kilometres, and gallon is a capacity measurement, like litres. So here I've got distance per capacity, but here I've got capacity per distance. They're inverted. We want to convert 40 miles per gallon into litres per 100 kilometres, and we're given some conversions. 1 gallon is 3.785 litres and 1 mile is 1.609 kilometres. Alright, so we're going to start off with 40 miles per gallon. It's pretty easy to change the miles into kilometres because 1 mile is 1.609 kilometres. I'm just going to multiply. And that's going to give me 64.36 kilometres. Now I've done a sneaky thing here. I have put this gallon on the denominator. Okay, that's 1 gallon. So it's 64.36 kilometres per 1 gallon. And we know that 1 gallon is 3.785 litres, and that's going to help you with whether you multiply or divide by doing it that way. 64.36 divided by 3.785 gives me 17.004 kilometres per litre. But look at this. We don't want kilometres per litre. We want litres per 100 kilometres. So I'm going to have to invert it. We either type 17.004 x to the -1 in your calculator or do 1 divided by 17.004. We get 0.0588 litres per kilometre, but we want litres per 100 kilometres, so multiply by 100. And there's our answer. So 40 miles per gallon is equivalent to 5.9 litres per 100 kilometres. Okay, that's the end of this lesson. In our next lesson, we're going to look at direct proportion.